YARRD, or Youth Against Racial and Religious Discrimination, was created at Crestwood Preparatory College to give students the opportunity to experience Toronto's diverse communities firsthand. The group was the brainchild of Crestwood students in 2003, and it has remained a student-directed club ever since.
YARRD, working with the Center for Diversity, allows Crestwood students the chance to visit Toronto's many houses of worship. This year, we visited Hindu, Sikh, and Buddhist temples, while past trips have taken us to mosques, synagogues, and churches, as well as Six Nations Reservation near Hamilton.
We believe that visiting these locales allows us to live up to our mission, to have our classmates experience and interact with other faiths and cultures. So many Crestwood students have not encountered these faiths firsthand, so talking to and being welcomed helps us to break down the barriers and stereotypes that may exist.
When it comes down to it, the essential lessons of all religions are not that different, and we all share common ground. Our hope is that we can help to foster a greater sense of tolerance and empathy both in our school and in our futures.
This year, we built on the foundation the Center for Diversity started for us by setting up our own trip to the newer Cultural Center, a mosque in Don Mills. There, we participated in Friday prayers and heard two congregants discuss their experiences with South African apartheid.
Because he was white, he gets a beautiful salary. Because I was Indian Asian, I would get 75% of your salary. And because you were colored, you would get a little less, and because when you were black, you would get a little less of the same.
So what I would like you to take away from here is to not judge Islam by the actions of a minority fringe group who are motivated by politics and anger.
In school, we continued our outreach programs to the student body. Multicultural Day saw Tai Chi, an array of foods, a Native Canadian powwow, and even a Bollywood dance. We also continued to host many speakers from various cultural communities and NGOs.
Dr. Ecole Dor spoke about her experiences in the Sudan, prompting a Palms for Peace project and a school supplies drive, some of which she was able to take to Africa.
We also had a former Crestwood student, Danielle Da Silva, speak about her charity, GettingSchool.org, which will bring educational opportunities to children in rural India. We raised enough money to help build and supply 3 schools.
And YARRD developed its connections to the Crestwood Oral History Project even further. Small groups of students sat down with and interviewed people who lived through recent history. Many Holocaust survivors spoke of their experiences at the hands of an intolerant state, leaving us with lessons we won't soon forget.
In my mind, it's so gray. There wasn't a blade of grass in that whole enclosure, not a flower, not a bush, not a tree, not anywhere that I could see.
And many of these survivors shared their personal materials with us, an old school book, treasured family photos and documents, whatever they could do to illustrate the dangers of hate.
So I got involved with them, and I was doing certificates to save people, to bring them back.
It wasn't only Holocaust survivors who shared their lessons with us. Community members from Rwanda, Jamaica, and India also spoke to Crestwood classes through this YARRD speaker series that we initiated.
And so even now, I sponsor 2 schools in Jamaica for 3 to 5 year olds. And they are in the countryside, in a very rural area, and these kids are absolutely adorable.
What I still struggle with, even today, is where people do not see my issues as a Canadian issue, who don't necessarily see me as Canadian. And I often wonder, then what do I have to do? Or how do I have to act to be Canadian? Right? Like, when is that role, what is that threshold that I become Canadian? Do I act like the Montreal Canadiens versus the New Jersey Devils?
And we continued this outreach to seniors in particular, visiting both Sunnybrook Hospital and Baycrest Geriatric this year. Students spoke to and volunteered their services to help out the residents. Bringing the generations together is another important YARRD idea.
To honor these Holocaust survivors, we did our own Triangles of Truth, and to pay homage to all these people who visited and shared their stories, we helped to organize an April breakfast, where we hosted more than 50 of these people in our school cafeteria. We kept them entertained and shared our school's hospitality as a measure of our gratitude.
And YARRD is about charity too. As the year ends, we will deliver school and art supplies to public schools and community centers, showing that our program is both local and global in its ambitions.
I'm Scott Canary.
And I'm Amanda Lee.
And it's our wish to get and to keep our classmates aware and involved.